These are my top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I've collected over the year 2025. Starting with number 10, has to be my E-Hero I got from Japan. I never went to Japan, but on eBay, I saw this. I'm a huge Elemental Hero fan, and I figured I just needed it. So I use this as a field center a lot of the times. When I first started back into Yu-Gi-Oh, I got the full E-Hero deck. I really sucked with it, but I love the archetype. I love Neos, so I figured I had to purchase this, and that's what I did. Now, number 9 is my Typhon. I have a QCR Typhon. The reason why this card is in my top 10, last year I had a job in New Jersey, and I went to a random locals one night. I was there for about an hour beforehand. I didn't know anybody. So I decided to rip some packs. They had a bunch of random packs that they were selling, and at like kind of low prices. I got like 5 Age of Overlord packs for like 10 bucks. So I ended up spending like 30 bucks on like 15 packs, and I ended up pulling this card. It's one of my first like really expensive QCRs I ever pulled, which is really sick. So that's why I had to put it on this list. Now, number 8 is my K9 Ripper. This is one of my first ever max rarity Euro cards and complete sets. So I had to put it on here. I think it's one of the prettiest cards. The CR in Euros are so much better than the CR in like American English cards. And I played this deck so much. So overall, I just really love the full archetype. So I figured this was the card that represented it the best. And honestly, I love how it looks in CR. So this is why this card made my top 10. And then now at number 7, we're sticking with the XYZ theme, and it's Exciton. So when I first started playing, I started with Heroes. Then competitively, I tried to learn Malice, which I was really bad at because I just didn't understand links. And then my friend suggested Ryzel. So I was like, you know what, let's play Ryzel. They're all level 4s, rank 4s, cool. So I started really getting better at the game with Ryzel. And with that being said, I had a super one of these because if you're playing level 4s or rank 4s, you need to be playing this card. I had a super. One of the rarity collections was being sold at my locals. I ended up buying a handful of packs, and I ended up pulling this. So another card that I pulled, and I ended up playing it. And ever since, anytime I have any decks that run level 4s, I played in it, and I'm just hyped that I have a QCR version of it and didn't have to pay for it. So that's why it's in my top 10. Now, number 6 is my Caesar Values, and it's another card I pulled, and it's a QCR. And the cool thing is, it's a one-up, so I didn't have to buy any more of them. But this card is the reason I got into Vanquish Soul in the first place. I just love the artwork, and when I pulled this card, my friend told me that like, hey, they suck, don't worry about them. Like, it's a cool card, but you're never gonna play it. And little did he know, it became one of the best decks. So I ended up starting to buy the core after I pulled this because I just really liked the archetype, and I liked this card specifically. So I got it. Obviously, they got Holy Sue, they got K9 Engine, and it just became pretty much the best deck, and I just kind of got lucky that way, and that's why I got into Vanquish Soul. If I never pulled this card, I probably wouldn't have gone into Vanquish Soul. If I didn't pull this, I would have never had that Ripper. Like, that's just how it is. I would have never bought the CR Euro. Like, I probably wouldn't have gone out of my way. I would have only had the K9 stuff if I pulled it. So thank you, Caesar Values, and thank you, Yu-Gi-Oh gods, for letting me pull this card. Now, moving on to the top 5. At number 5, we have the one and only spell on this list, and it's Lightning Storm. The reason I put this on the list was 1, because I just love the artwork, and 2, this artwork only comes in this rarity. So when I saw it, I was like, dang, this is so much cooler than the original artwork. I should probably get it if I'm gonna play the card ever. So I ended up getting it. But yeah, I bought a playset of this card, and overall, I just think it's a beautiful card, and I think the artwork is incredible. Now moving on to number 4, Murakumo. Murakumo is a card that I've been playing since the first day it came out. Obviously, it was a TCG exclusive, and Mitsurugi was just overall a really good engine. I've been playing it since before Haba. At like literally day 1 this came out, I got this, and I put it in my Ryzel deck. It was my first deck that I started topping things with, and I started getting like first place at locals with. That being said, is why this card will probably always be like one of my favorite cards, is because I started winning with it. This card is just so good. The engine was so good, and even without Habakiri, like this and Ryzel was just so good. Being able to bridge into it with King of the Feral Imps was kind of overpowered, which makes sense why that card got banned. But overall, this card just reminds me of winning, and that's why I like it. Number 3 is my Plague Spreader Zombie that I got this year. Back in the day, my favorite decks were Zombies and Blackwings, and I used to love this card. I never had it in this rarity, and at the time when I purchased this card, I really didn't know much about like QCR or anything. I just got it because it was like a cheap card and looked really cool. I remember when I played when I was a kid, the Alti version of this was like by far the best and the highest rarity, but I saw this at a card shop, and it was the first Plague Spreader zombie that I've seen since I played as a kid, so I had to buy it. Now moving on to number 2. And number 2 is my Sage with the Eyes of Blue. I played Blue Eyes, especially when the Blue Eyes deck came out. I mean, Blue Eyes is one of my favorite cards ever, so this being the first OTS pack ulti that I ever pulled is the reason why it's on this list. 1, I think it's beautiful. 2, I pulled a second one, and then 3, my friend John gave me his that he pulled, so I ended up having a playset of this. For me, personally, if I could have all of the Blue Eyes stuff in ultis, I would, but obviously they don't make the Maiden of White or like other cards in ulti, so like the QCR and having them all match is really nice. But for me, I'll probably never have the QCR of the Sage because I just think this card is so sick and I have a playset of it. The fact that I pulled it just makes it so much cooler. So I love Blue Eyes. I love that I pulled this card, and it being my first ulti is why it's on the list and why it's so high on the list. Now with all that being said, here is my last one, and it has to be my ulti Blue Eyes that I pulled from the OTS pack. I was so hyped when I pulled this, and with how clean it is, like there might be a little white spot on this bottom left over here. This card overall is just so sick, and it's so clean, and it's so pretty. And Blue Eyes being one of my all-time favorite monsters from when I was a kid to now, like it couldn't be anything other than this card being one of my favorites, you know what I mean? Like this had to be number 1. I don't know what else to say about this card. It's just like everyone who knows Yu-Gi-Oh knows Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon. And even if you don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, you know this photo, and to have it as an ulti like this in English, it is so sick. I'll probably never play with this card because I have this version in the QCR, which it's the same art, but this is just, to me, it's just so much nicer. So I have this in my collection. It's in the center of the first page of my binder. This is in my Blue Eyes deck. Sage is also in my Blue Eyes deck. Overall, if I could have all my Blue Eyes and all my like Primite stuff be ultis and have that deck of as like 40 cards and it be 40 colors of ultis, I would 100% do that. This will probably go down as one of my favorite cards of all time, and the fact that I pulled it just makes it so much better. But it had to be number 1 this year. Like this card is just so nice. Overall, I'm pretty hyped on this. This is gonna go down as one of my favorite cards of all time that I own. Now here it is, my top 10 cards of 2025. I don't know what more to say about these cards, but overall, I absolutely love them. I kind of have all the high rarities in this. I have the Euro CRs, I have the QCRs, I have the altis, I have whatever Japanese rarity this is, but it is really pretty. With this card, the same rarity collection that it came out in, Effect Veiler probably ties it for me because that new art is also super sick and only comes in this rarity. With Murakumo, I'm more of a fan of the QCRs than the Starlights, so I would never upgrade this to a Starlight because I think the QCRs just are so much better, and it's the original max rarity. So even when the engine is completely banned and unplayable, I will still have my 2 ofs of these because from a collector standpoint, they're just so pretty and like such cool cards. I do play with all my cards, which I'm assuming a lot of you guys do as well, but maybe when I stop playing, I'll get some of these graded. Obviously things are gonna be lightly played, so they're not gonna be perfect 10s. Some might be, but overall, that doesn't really matter to me. I just love Yu-Gi-Oh for collecting the cards to be able to play them. This Blue Eyes, I'm obviously not playing. I have my other versions that I will play. So there are some cards like that, but overall, if I can play the card, I'm gonna play the card. This is my top 10 cards that I've collected over 2025. If you have a list of your favorite cards that you got over the last year, comment them down below because I just love shiny cardboard. Kind of addicted to it if you can't tell. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your week. I hope you guys continue collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.